breaking barriers and bridging the gaps between patients and doctors. Welcome to Brainstorming with the Docs and your co-hosts, Dr. Glenn Harrison and Dr. Kolby Condos.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Brainstorming with the Docs. I'm Dr. Kolby Condos, my co-host, Dr. Glenn Harrison. What's up, bud?
Doing great. How are you this fine evening?
I'm doing well, man. Life's good. Kids are growing.
Yeah.
Business is going well.
It's
as well.
Yeah. It's always nice these evenings to have a little bit of a rally and kind of get a little bit grounded after the days, the routine.
So today, something pretty remarkable. I think that when we were both reflecting on this prior to starting the recording here, 100th episode, episode 100.
Number 100.
It's kind of
and we didn't think we'd get to 20.
No, I mean, especially early on, right? It was a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a grind. Then we hit our stride, and here we are. I mean, when I reflect back on it, it's pretty cool. Even if like 8 people are listening to us right now or something, like we have
at least 12.
We made it to episode 100, and then on top of that, I think
2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years of effort, sustained effort, and consistency, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Right. Something a little bit unique today too is like we are going straight off the cuff. We're just going to be talking, discussing, and really reflecting on why we think consistency is so important, not only for health, but for other aspects of your life. If this is your first time listening, welcome, episode 100, right?
Yeah.
There's like 100 other episodes you can go back and draw on our limited breadth of knowledge. It's limited, but it's there. So help yourself to all those and hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going to try for another 100 more, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. We'll try.
So let's talk about consistency.
Consistency.
So when we were kind of talking about this before without outlining it or doing any of that stuff. It's like, why is consistency so important? Like, how does this reflect? How does this implement? And, how can this improve my life? I think that one thing what I really think about when I think of consistency is it's often preached, but rarely practiced, right?
Very true.
You hear about it all the time. Oh, all you got to do is be consistent. Well, how many people are actually consistent with things?
Yeah, I think a few reasons why we're not consistent. I think one, we have short-term memory. We forget when we slip and we fall out of our patterns. We do forget this. It could be something we're trying to avoid eating, or something we're trying to eat, or exercise we're trying to do, or something extra we're trying to do with our family. We forget our patterns. So one reason why consistency is hard is because we're not keeping score. And another reason why there's many reasons, but another reason why I think it's really high on the ladder of why we're not consistent is because it's boring. It's absolutely boring. And we have 1,000,000,001 distractions. It could be digital. It could be cell phones, computers. It could be neighbors. It could be friends. It could be everyone's always trying to compete for our time and our attention. And anytime our attention gets pulled away from us, we naturally fall out of the pattern that we're going to do. Our timeline changes. I've done this so many times where I have a certain block of time to do this and this and this, and then something pulls me out. And it's not them, it's me. I'm allowing it. And I fall out of that, and then it happens just once. And then I'm more likely to slip again and slip again and slip again. And a month, 3 months down the road, I'm like, you know what? I just kind of fell out of it. Oh, well, why did it happen? Well, it's just life got in the way. That's always the excuse we use. So I think 2 major reasons. 1, we don't keep score if we're being consistent. And 2, we allow for distractions. And we've done this. We've done a video on priorities.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons I have difficulty with being consistent is I'm not sure why I'm doing it. I think that if you don't have clear, laid out linear goals, or at least a point that you're trying to get to, if you're just like, I'm going to work out, right? Well, why? I mean, what is the deciding factor? What made you want to start working out? If you don't write that down, if you don't have it, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's a goal. That's a good goal. That's something that you can look at and you can measure it. And you're like, all right, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to consistently exercise. Then you can step on the scale and go, lost 2 pounds.
Mhm.
Oh, I've lost 4 pounds. And it's something that you can see the progress for. You can measure it. It's tangible. I think that when you don't have a goal laid out, you don't have a finish line, maybe.
That's right. You don't have any, like you said, you don't have a purpose why you would do something every day. And that's the purpose of, that's why consistency is important, because it's bite-sized pieces to achieve something massive. And very few people, the instant gratification and all those theories, no, they're not a theory. It really is a thing where the instant gratification, we get pulled this way. It's easier. It feels a little better to sit, turn on the TV than move, because moving and maybe getting a little bit of exercise, if that's the goal, well, that's there's no instant gratification in there. That
requires effort too, right? Yeah, there's no effort to sit on the couch.
That's right. Well, the gratification sitting on the couch it's relaxing. No effort. It's a great example of watching life fly by. You're sitting on the couch and you're just watching life go by versus interacting with the world and interacting with life. But what you said was very important. Having a goal, we always talk about these goals, and we've done it on probably many podcasts. We've talked about goals over the last 2 years. I can't believe it's 2 years, really blows my mind. But having something measurable and having a timeline for it, I would pull up my little board here, and put it in the camera. But anyway, I have a board right on this desk where I'm at, and I have a couple others on the walls. But that's exactly what it is. It's a goal, and then I break that goal down into bite-sized pieces. And I know to myself that if I'm not following the implementation, for example, exercise, if I'm not doing that in my routine, my consistent every day or 6 days a week, I'm not going to get to the goal that I need, because the only way I can eat that elephant is one bite at a time. And every day is a bite. So yeah, to your point, if there isn't a goal, you don't have any reason. You have to have a carrot baiting you to get you to where you are. And then to add on to that, you have to be reminded of that goal every day. I was reading something the other day and I can't even remember where it was. And they talked about statistically, 90% of the people who achieve their goals not only have a goal, because not too many people even have goals, or they don't define the goal, like you're saying, tangible, measurable, and time has a timeline. But the higher percentage of population that actually achieve their goal, they're reminded by it every day. For me, if I look, I'm sitting at my desk right now, I see exercise, and then my physical goals I have on here. If I see that every day, because I'm sitting here every day, at least for a little while, I'm always reminded by that. And that keeps me on track to be consistent with what I need to achieve my goal that I'm reminded by every day, because everything else is trying to infiltrate and take over and interrupt and interfere and be another priority that's jumping in front of that goal. And it's usually other people and other things, AKA life, got in the way. How many patients have you said, I fell out of my routines, Dr. Kolby, life just kind of gets in the way?
Oh, especially around the holidays, right? We just got through the holiday season. Boy, I was doing so well. And then we had a Christmas party, or it was New Year's, or a Super Bowl, or whatever,
Yeah. And are those
little hiccup?
Are those excuses to fall out of their routines, or were they massive distractions that pulled them away from their routines and their goals?
Well, I think probably both, right? But I think more than anything, once you get out of a habit, it's easy. It just takes one step, right? So you think that, say you're going hiking on a trail, right? How often do you hear this? Oh, I stopped to use the bathroom. I walked a little bit off the trail and then I'm lost in the woods. Like, this happens all the time, right? All it takes is one step off the trail. And it happens to us all the time.
Unless you're in Wyoming.
Yeah. Which, if you're in Wyoming, you can just turn and be like, oh, I can see 50 miles. It's fine. I'll just walk back to wherever I left the trail. It's the only place out there. But I mean, this is something that it's consistently working at consistency almost. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you and I set goals and we're like, okay, we're going to do this. And then we just do it. I mean, this podcast is a perfect example. I cannot tell you, there's been weeks where I'm like, hey man, got some stuff come up with my kids.
In fact, we fell out of it for a couple of weeks.
Yep, we did. Hey, I just got back from wherever. My kids are sick. We have this going on. Like, hey, is there any way we can do it next week? And then before you know it, it's 1 week moves into two moves into three. And then I think the thing I appreciate the most about our relationship that we have between the two of us is that even if I feel a certain amount of accountability to you, even if I don't want to do it, right? It's not necessarily the most convenient thing to do
That's
because
right.
it's in the evenings. We both already worked a full day, got the
Mhm.
kids in bed, still got dishes, laundry, whatever. There's 1.5 million reasons or life that could get in the way, but there's a certain amount of accountability to that makes us want to do it. So when we look at how did we make it to 100, it wasn't like we just 100 weeks in a row did it every week.
Right.
It was, we do it a couple this day and then, life gets in the way, but we come back to it. And I think that that's allowing yourself a little grace and realizing that, hey, it's not going to be just linear. It's not going to be like you'd look on a graph and you see a straight line. There's going to be undulations in there.
That's
But
right.
as long, and I use this analogy with my patients, it's not going to be straight. You are going to have times where you don't feel optimal. You're going to have times where your weight's going to fluctuate a little bit. There's going to be times where you have whatever your symptom is that's a little bit worse. But as long as we're trending in a positive direction, as long as you have more asymptomatic days than you have symptomatic days, as long as the days where the pain is less than it was when you began seeking care, then that's a positive marker, right? You can use that momentum to carry you into more positive aspects.
That's so true, because otherwise we get tied up and it turns into a guilt model. We get tied up if we didn't do it. Right. You see this where people are all in or all out in their lifestyle efforts. They're all in. They're like, Dr. Harrison, when I'm in, I'm in. But, I just flip the other way sometimes. I can't stay consistent. And I said, well, it's just me. And when people tell me that, which is most of my patients, I'm like, you're normal. You're normal.
100%.
We swing one way, then we swing the other way. We swing one way, swing the other way. And it impairs and impedes any progress in anything we're doing, whether it's, I don't know, anything we want to learn, anything we want to achieve. There's a reason why when you go to school, you usually have to go every day. Do you want to go to, do we want to go to school every day? No, there's lots of days we would have loved to have off, but there were teachers, finances that held us accountable to go to class so we could get the grades and we could be done with it. But it allowed for something that probably could have took 10 years and we achieved it in a fraction of that. Right. So external forces and external accountability partners like you are, to me, that really, that is so crucial. So you can have we've talked about accountability, have an accountability partner, a friend or family or something to help you be consistent with the things you set out. But you got to know why you're doing it. You got to know it has to be something you want to do, and it has to be in a fashion that you can be consistent. Don't set yourself up for failure. Like, we're talking about this podcast as a time commitment. Many people, if they've never done something like this, maybe they don't know the commitment. Well, you and I, we're recording 1 week, and then the next week we're brainstorming. We're planning topics, and we're usually doing a script. We don't have any script, and it'll probably show. but what is our time commitment once a week?
I mean, it's a couple hours. Yeah.
At least minimum.
At least.
Absolute
and that's
minimum.
just the time that we're together. I mean, that's times that we're not brainstorming topics
That's
on
right.
the phone. I mean, 2-3 hours at least once a week. And that's only on Tuesdays. We talk on Fridays too.
Yeah. And that's something that's our accountability session. We slip out of that too. But I would say we're probably I would be comfortable to say 3 hours a week.
Yeah, I would say that.
3 hours a week. So, 3 hours a week, if people already in the evening, they had a full day, that's a pretty significant investment. It really is. Anybody can be a rock star one day. Anybody can eat healthy one day. Anybody can work out one day. Anybody can, record a podcast one day out of a week. And there's not going to be anything remarkable that's going to come from that. The remarkable outcomes, the extraordinary outcomes are going to be if you can execute it every day. And that's why consistency is king.
It really is. And this translates over into every facet of your life. I mean, we hear this all the time. They were a 10-year overnight success. You look at it. Oh, this guy made $1 million and it was like overnight. But what they don't see is the 10 years of effort prior to that moment where they make all the money, So it's the effort behind the scenes that people don't see. And it could be anything. It's, oh my gosh, like so-and-so lost so much weight. I wonder if they had,
what's the secret?
What did they do? They do lap band. No, what they did is they exercised every stinking day for 2 years and you just didn't see them. There's a lot of that happens. I had this conversation with a patient yesterday. They go, I'm just not getting better. And I was like, but really, and it's uncomfortable. And in a lot of ways, as providers, we're just accountability partners, right?
Many times.
And they came in, I'm just not getting better. I said, okay, how consistent have you been with what we talked about? Well, it's just really hard. And I said, so I'm going to take that as not consistent. I mean, how do you know it's not working or it's not going to work if you have never even given it the chance to try, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that, again, having clear defined goals, having a roadmap of where you're going to go and why you're doing it. You know, if you want to talk about the podcast, what's the reason we decided to do this podcast, right? Wanted to give people another avenue where they could find some information about questions they had, right?
That was the whole purpose of this.
That was it.
But what did it turn into? That's maybe more interesting. What did it turn into?
I mean, it's a way that you and I have spitballed ideas off of each other. For me personally, it's been really huge, right? Because it's not just us spitballing information that we learned about in school 4 or 5 years ago, or that we learned about in a seminar, you know, whenever. For me, it's a way, something that we have looked at. All right, what are people's questions? How can we answer them in a concise way? And how can we make the access to the information easy?
That's right. I know we've talked about this a million times, yourself or myself. A patient has a question about something like, you know what? I've done a recording with Dr. Kolby on our podcast, Brainstorming with the Docs. How about I send it to you? And they're like, oh, great. And it saves me time. It gives them more value. And it just makes everything easier. But for me, a big thing is I rally before our podcast and even after our podcast, where we can spitball ideas, not necessarily on the podcast, but clinical strategies and business strategies and life strategies and all of that. And coupling that those benefits motivates me, even when I don't want to continuously make the podcast, because I'm coupling something that gives me instant gratification with something that, you know, something to grow into something bigger.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, and maybe the people listening to this, if they're trying to forge a habit that might not be too appealing because the gratifications can take so long, maybe they can couple with something else that gives them instant gratification and motivates them a little bit more to be able to be consistent with the behavior that, for example, maybe it's exercise. Maybe there's something else they can put in.
Right. You want to get better at exercise? Go exercise with someone you enjoy visiting with and talk with them while you're on the treadmill.
Or a location, you know, sometimes people, I can't handle the gym. It's terrible. Okay. Do you like the outdoors? Great. Okay. Love the outdoors. What do you like to do in the outdoors? I like to go for a jog. I'm like, there's your exercise. There you go.
Yep.
There's the start. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been going for about, I don't know, 15.
We're not even timing it now.
We're not even timing it.
So for people listening to this, what three, I'm only going to give you three, Dr. Kolby, what three tools, strategies, things to really hone on that we revealed some of them. What three things would you tell the people that are listening or watching that they should focus on if they want to be consistent? You're only allowed three.
So my three keys for consistency in my life. How's that? I'll give you my three keys.
I like it.
So the first key is I had to identify the goal and why I wanted to get it there, right? So I want to do this. Could be anything. I want to run a marathon. I want to.
It has to be deep. It has to be deep.
Yeah, and you have to know why you're doing it. Why do you want to do it?
Why would you want to run a marathon? I don't know.
So you got a goal. Mm-hmm. You have the what. Now you have the why. Why do I want to do it? I want better health. I want to provide a positive role model for my kids. Mm-hmm. I want to live a healthier lifestyle. So I'm setting myself up for success in the future, whatever it is. So know your goal, know why you're doing it, right? And then have someone that holds you accountable. That's the three things for me. So let me give you an example in my life with our business, right? We have goals for our business. What are our goals? Why do we want to do it? And then I have a meeting with my partner, who's my wife, and our office manager once a week. And we go, okay, where are we at with these goals? What are we doing good? What can we improve on? And how are we going to do it? Because having that conversation when you haven't done anything and you haven't been consistent, you haven't worked towards anything is huge, and it's uncomfortable. And I don't like being uncomfortable. No one likes being uncomfortable. So if my goal is to do all of my patient notes and I have to sit there and look at my wife and go, yeah, I didn't do that. That's uncomfortable. So you can bet I'm going to work on getting it done so I don't have to eat crow,
Yeah. So you're letting people know what the goal is. So there's kind of this subconscious accountability partner.
Yeah. There's some motivation there, right? How about for you? What are your three keys?
For me, definitely overlap. So got to have a goal. There's my goals on my board over here beside me. So having the goal, and the goal has an embedded purpose, just like you're saying, the why, and it has to be deep. So I'm only calling that one though. That's still just a goal. I have two more. So the second thing that helps me be consistent is a schedule. Without a schedule, I can't get anything done. So I have to allocate. The goal has steps to it, and these steps are in a schedule. A certain time I'm going to do this, a certain time I'm going to do that. And I've butchered schedules a million times. My patients all know this because I'm steady talking about time management, because when people are sick, they can't manage their time. They get behind on life. So I have stepping points. So I have a goal, and I have steps that are allocated to a calendar. It can't be it's got to be in a calendar. Example, wanting to change physique. That's a goal. The steps are the gym, exercise on the calendar. So that's the second piece. The third piece is the accountability partner, like you, Dr. Kolby, or somebody else I say that I'm going to do it. It's those three, kind of the same, I would say. The formula is the same, but I think maybe some of the pieces of these three things are maybe different for me, maybe for you. I have to allocate the steps to get, like the execution steps to get to my goal. The only way I can be consistent with them is a schedule. That's the only way.
Now that we talked about it and I listened to yours, I mean, I literally said, I was like, I have a time scheduled where we have the meetings that we talk about,
Yeah.
You're completely right. If you're not scheduling the time, then
and
it could be anything. It could be for goals, for health, whatever. Like you gotta make it a priority. You got to schedule it and then be consistent.
Exactly. Like anything you're trying to achieve or grow, like athletes, they have to have a schedule. They have to have a goal. They have to have steps. It's just what has to happen. The goal for me always has to be in my face. Always has to be in my face. And, after this podcast, I'm going to change things up a little bit. I have one goal board here, and I want the identical one on my fridge. And I want the identical one on the wall in my bedroom. Maybe a little bit obsessive, but that's how you do things if you're constantly reminded, because something's going to try to outcompete that priority. There's always something that's going to try to outcompete it. And when something, leapfrogs the priority that you want to get to, it could be maybe the Super Bowl, and then you're not following your diet because it's just the Super Bowl. Well, maybe, but maybe that goal to follow your diet is necessary to mitigate and manage your multiple sclerosis, or your celiac, or your Crohn's, or I don't know, maybe your physique, and then maybe that plays into your emotions. So if we allow these things to interrupt all the time and take priority, we fall out of our goals. So one of the best ways to maintain priority is constantly be bombarded with a reminder. So,
and then consistently look at them.
Yeah. And if they're always in your face, you can't help but do it. The worst thing you can do with a goal, I've done this too, and I have one here, is have it in a little book and then close it up.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
You never see it again unless you have it on the calendar, and then you're going to open up your book. That can help, but it's a whole lot easier if it's open and in your face. It's way easier. So, something to think about. So hopefully these three things, for the people listening to this, we're kind of overlapping, and maybe people have tried it, but hopefully this podcast was able to really, really iron it out.
Give it a little insight. I don't know. Like we said, it was off the cuff. Come on, guys, help us out.
There's the excuse.
So if you guys got value out of this podcast, again, like we talked about, please hit like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and share it with whoever you want. We're just doing this for you guys, and our own selfish reasons, as we talked about, but mostly for you.
Yeah, mostly. And our patients.
If you'd like to get a hold of us, our contact information is info@brainstormingwiththedocs.com. You can get on our websites. Mine is northlakeschiropractic.com. Dr. Glenn's is drgharrison.com. And again, stay tuned, because you can bet that next week we are going to consistently roll out episode 101.
101. Well, congratulations, Dr. Kolby. It's been a slice. It's been 2 years, almost 2 years in the making, and well over 2 years in the making.
Oh, yeah.
But we hit number 100, and I look for the next 100, 200, 300, and who knows where we'll be then.
I can't wait, buddy. Sounds
Me too.
good.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.